Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Excited about our weekend in our conference. I think in any sport within the Big 12, to come away with 6 points on the road was a tremendous effort from our squad. And for a lot of them, they're young players, and this is their first taste of Big 12 action. I think the resiliency that we acquired in our preseason, if you will, in our out-of-conference schedule has definitely served us great justice in the preparation for what we face this weekend.
All right, questions?
How far has that youth come since the trip to Colorado and through what you experienced in the non-conference?
Oh, I can't even tell you. For instance, Carly Allen, our 6, I had a conversation with her because that's such a cog in your team, and I said, Carly, if I take who you are today and I put you in our Colorado match 3-4 weeks ago, how do you feel? She's like, oh my gosh, I'd feel like a completely different player. And then I think if you go through any of the other sophomores or freshmen that we've been playing, their eyes have been wide open to the speed of play, to the tactics, and then there just has to be a rate of absorption, and it takes time. But I think that with this baptism by fire, you're seeing the likes of the Carly Allens who now are understanding when they shouldn't be pulled out of space, when they're absorbing a player. The communication is fantastic. The settling of the ball is becoming better and better. So I think that they've grown a tremendous amount.
What are your impressions of the Big 12 as a whole, and what do you expect to see going forward?
Gosh, I think it's one of the toughest conferences in the country in that there's teams that play direct, there's teams that have athletic players going forward, but then also mix it in and like to keep it. Then there's teams that just organize themselves tactically to possess the ball and to be patient in the attack. So there's a lot of different looks that you're going to get in every environment. Then you're going to be either on the road or you're going to be at home, and you have to organize yourself tactically a little bit different on the road than you would at home. So there's a lot, and it varies so much in the style of play and how each team is set up.
Is it fair to look at the Monmouth loss as an indication of what this team is, or is that one of those things where it's non-conference, Sierra was hurt, you just move on and look forward?
No excuses. That was an anomaly. That was, if you stay in the game long enough, I've been coaching now for 21 years, the team was just underwater and didn't have a response. And, anytime you don't have your goal scorer, I mean, she's one of the best players in the country, it's gonna impact the way in which you play or the kind of special situations that she can get herself in, like she did a Thursday night against Kansas with an unbelievable finish. But that was an anomaly, and but we learned from that. That was unacceptable. We talked as a group. We've been able to grow our perseverance and resiliency through that little bit of adversity. And those youthful mistakes, and it's fair to say that they've found the grit. Since that moment, this team has played teams that are a lot more talented and have been coming at them, and obviously we've all seen the responses since then.
Did Sierra have a concussion? Is that why she was missing?
She got a little knock on that goal that she scored, which she's taking physical risks, which I love. Yeah, so we were just being precautionary, and I think you guys that have been around me for long enough, there's never going to be any sort of situation that's more important than my players and their health. And that was getting into the next weekend. It was some decisions that we needed to make. We were never going to risk her being back to 100%, and now she is, and now we're grateful for that.
And she is 100% now.
Yeah.
And
Well, I'd be lying to say that any one of the players are 100%. As soon as you begin a high-level competition, you're never 100%, right? So I think we're healthy for sure. That's coming out of this weekend being healthy, that's fantastic. We have a very competitive environment, and they're pushing one another. But safe to say that we're healthy going into Thursday.
and how much has Grasso upgraded her game and since last year when she obviously was co-freshman of the year, and how much has her international experience helped in her development?
Yeah, I think the World Cup was a great experience for her. She didn't get a chance to get into a match and play a minute, and I told her in retrospect when she's 26, 27, playing professionally, being more of a mainstay in the starting lineup for Canada, that experience is going to do her due diligence, right? She had to be a teammate. She had to be ready to go if she ever got the call to get in. But I think this NCAA experience is really allowing her game to grow. At Canada, she played more of the six. Obviously, she has the ability to break lines and be dynamic and attack the goal, which she's shown. But she's figuring out how to help and be one of the players to carry a team. She's competing. She's understanding how to go after it in key moments. She's breaking teams down. These are essential for her international success. And the thing that I like the most is she's becoming really, really fit on both sides of the ball, and that's another aspect of her game that needed to grow. So I think she's just blossoming, and I think this NCAA environment is really allowing her to do so.
When you start Big 12 play with 2 wins, how much does that help the maturity of a younger team to understand that they can, be a really good team in this league?
Well, it's huge. I mean, I think that, just coming off the road with 2 road wins, Kansas is a really good team, and K-State. I mean, it was just 2 really tough matches, and now they're realizing, they look down at other people's results. They realize how tight this conference is. I think the other 3 matches went to overtime yesterday. So it's going to be a battle, and within every battle there has to be belief, and I think 2 victories on the road gives them that.
You started the season with Savannah and gold. Nicole's been your guys' hot hand. What was what are your impressions of the goaltending this year, and why is Nicole back for you guys?
Well, I think it's a credit to Savannah Madden. Savannah Madden has closed the gap since she's been here, and she came in this summer ready to go. And I've been looking around the country. There's a lot of teams that are either splitting halves, like within a game, which I'm not in favor of as a coach. I was never in favor of that as a player, or splitting weekends. So somebody will get the Thursday or the Friday, and another goalkeeper will get the Sunday. And there's a lot more than there ever used to be teams doing that. What that states is we all know how much money's going into the youth game, and there's just much more talented goalkeepers around. We just happen to have 2 extremely talented goalkeepers that could be starting at a lot of different places. The growth of Savannah Madden has been tremendous, and they're battling, and I guess I liken it to a quarterback, situation, and you have to pick which one is going to be best tactically for you on any given match, and that's certainly the decisions that I've made as of late.
How would you rate your defense, how it's come around the last couple of matches?
I think Atuma Shana, our center back, has really, really stepped up her game. We've tightened the lines. We've decreased the amount of quality scoring opportunities. A ball that gets struck towards the face of the goal that goes out right at the corner flag is sometimes given as a shot. I'll take those shots. So we're fine with that. But I think when you really break the game down statistically and you look at where the quality chances are coming from, we're doing much better. But then again, as we all know, that starts with the pressure up top, with the organization in the midfield. But I want to credit Atu Mishana for bringing along her young back line. Emma Jet's a senior, has been there, but she had a little bit of a knock at the beginning of the season, and she's getting back to full strength. And Emma Regan has been doing great in partnership with Atu Mishana in the center back position over the last 2 weeks. So I'm really pleased with how we've tightened things up against real quality, dynamic front lines.
What's the scouting report on TCU in West Virginia?
They're really good. I watched games. We've been watching for a few weeks, and I was able to sit down and watch 2 games last night, and we'll watch another 2 or 3 today, just to be certain about tendencies. They play different. TCU plays a lot different than West Virginia, but they're both very well organized. They have some dynamic personalities up top, and they both like to keep it. So we're gonna have a game plan set for tomorrow morning. We'll implement it for our squad, and then we'll be ready to go. What I always like to, the perspective I always like to have as a player and as a coach is, we're going to be organized for their tendencies, but they need to be organized for us.
I noticed last year, I haven't looked at your guys' numbers so far this season since non-conference, but attendance was up for you guys last year. What would you attribute your rise in attendance? Is it you guys have been obviously a lot more competitive and ranked last year? Is it the more interest in soccer locally with MLS? Why do you think there's more interest in your guys' program?
Well, there's 20,000 youth players in the city of Austin, right? So just engaging, credit our marketing department and just the vibe around Texas that Chris Del Conte has brought. I think that's getting excitement. Certainly our results are helping, but we're trying to be as fan-friendly, family-friendly as we possibly can. We want the atmosphere around the pitch to be closer, so we're allowing people to bring their lawn chairs. We're bringing seats closer, and then let's not forget about the Austin anthem. They have come to the majority of our home matches, and they just bring a true soccer culture, right? They're banging on the drums, they're vuvuzelas and all over the place. That's what the typical fan sees when they watch the EPL, when they watch the Bundesliga, when they watch World Cup or Champions League matches. That's what we've always wanted to bring, right? So we want a more intimate soccer-specific environment. The Austin Anthem has brought that kind of soccer vibe for us. But then it just comes down to our marketing department's done a great job. We've been reaching out to the community. We have long-lasting relationships with a lot of the youth clubs, and just want to thank all of those fans because it makes a big difference. The atmosphere we had the Friday night versus Washington was pretty electric. And I think that's one thing. If you were to talk to any of our players, they would say that they felt it, the fans were close, and it made a big impact on their performance and how they played because it just gives energy. It gives energy. Coach Elliott in volleyball, he would say the exact same thing, and I know for a fact Coach Herman loves that this football stadium is packed. So the fans definitely have a hand in the success of all of our teams.
20,000 youth, how many when you got here, I wonder, as far as the youth,
over
is it
7
growing?
years. Yeah, I think around the country, Kirk, there's so much money being put into the youth game, and that's why our margin for success is becoming so incredibly difficult because everybody is developing at a younger age. More people are playing the game. But yeah, you go down to the grassroots, you go down just over 35, upper 90 is doing an unbelievable job, grassroots, right? Then you go all the way up to, I'm not going to name any clubs because I'm going to inevitably forget one, right? But there's dozens of clubs in town that are doing a fantastic jobs, and then there's some that have development academy, and there's some that are ECNL, and we try to support every single club, grassroots, as much as we can with clinics and reaching out. And I spent as much time as I can building those relationships. And I think it's just a reciprocal environment.
So this is not growing soccer hotbed, it's already a soccer hotbed?
Well, I told you guys that 2 years ago, right? Yeah, and I'm really excited for Josh Wolf and just the city of Austin. I know that they just had the groundbreaking the other day. It's going to be electric, and this city is primed and ready for it. I think they see, what Atlanta's done, what Mia and her group have done at LAFC, and I think that Austin is ready to rival that atmosphere, most definitely.